Josh Rosen is a Miami-based comic. He does great impersonations, and he does a lot of sports ones. He does Skip Bayless, Mad Dog Russo, Chris Broussard, Nick Wright, Marv Albert. He does Stephen A. Smith. He does everybody. And we ran into him. I'd seen him on Twitter, and then we ran into him at the NBA Finals when the Miami Heat were in the Finals against the Denver Nuggets. He joined us on air. Terrific guy, and he joins us now. Josh, Frank Isola, Brian Scalabrine, how you doing?
Hey, how are you guys? Thanks for having me on.
Good. So how's the comedic world going for you?
Well, things are going great. You know, I'm having record ratings, record crowds. I just did a show. We had 1 billion people in attendance. It was really fantastic.
So what kind of reaction have you gotten? Any kind of feedback from anybody like Nick Wright or Stephen A. Smith or Chris Broussard, who I know pretty well? Also, Mad Dog Russo, who a lot of people do him as an impersonation. You get any feedback from those guys?
Yeah, so I actually did meet Nick Wright last year finally when I was in New York, and he was really cool. He enjoys the impression, brought me in the studio, which was cool. And other than him, though, Broussard, too, likes my impression. So they enjoy it. I haven't really gotten feedback. Skip, I think, is just ignoring me. I have no doubt he's seen the impression, though.
Yeah.
We have guys on this show that do this, right? A guy from Chicago. He has a few guys. Now, how do you know if you're going to go with it? How much time do you spend before you say, yeah, I'm going to introduce the world to this? Do you have people that you lean on that they tell you yeah or they tell you no? I'm so curious on how you, first of all, do it, and then second, decide, okay, I'm going to put this thing out there.
I test things out sometimes on social media, especially Twitter, because Twitter's just like a pool of stuff. And, sometimes things hit, sometimes they don't. So, for instance, I started doing Skip Bayless a few years ago, and I did not think it was going to be a big hit. And as soon as I put it out on Twitter, it went viral. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to roll with this impression. And then also when I'm working on someone, I've got to be very interested in the person because it takes a lot of practice to, get all the mannerisms down, the voice, the words and everything. So those are the two things. I test things out on social media to get the feedback. And then also I've got to be very interested in the person because I'm watching literally hours of YouTube videos to get the impression down.
We're talking with Josh Rosen, who's a comedian and impersonator down and does great impressions. He's based out of Miami. And I would think, you mentioned Twitter, and I would think the one thing about Twitter is something crazy happens in sports, and you have the ability, and I've seen you do this a lot when you do the Skip Bayless impersonation, you react to it right away. So it becomes really timely, it becomes topical, which I would think that has to help, right?
Oh, 100%, yeah. So, during football season, as Skip is tweeting about the Cowboys, I go under his tweets a lot of times, and I'll do Skip speaks the tweet. And so I actually put his tweet in video form.
That's great.
I never can quite like those Cowboys, middle of the pack Dak. He's a flat-out fraud, just like LaFraud James.
Real time. I got you. Yeah, that's interesting. So can we just make requests here or what? Is that how this works?
Let's do it.
Well, before you do though, so what makes you doing the president, Skip Bayless, Stephen A, because they're big personalities. They have a way of exaggerating, so it's easy to exaggerate what they're doing because the stuff you did with Trump at the All-Star game was hilarious because you're saying I would have won 1 million MVPs. It's not really far out of the realm of what's something that he might say. So that I would think that has to help, right? Getting guys that that are big personalities that exaggerate the things that they're saying, right?
Yeah, Trump and Skip Bayless are actually similar characters because they always think their opinions are right, and they're willing to roast whoever they're going against. So it's sort of the bigger the personality, like you said, Trump, Skip, Stephen A., much easier to imitate.
All right. So I have a request before Brian asks one. Can you do the president upset that Brian Scalabrine will not be on NBC's opening night coverage of the NBA. So they'll debut, and they'll have Reggie Miller there. They'll have Jamal Crawford, Tracy McGrady, Carmelo, Vince Carter, but Brian will not be a part of it. Could you be the president outraged that Brian will not be part of NBC's coverage, if you could?
So it's a complete and total disgrace that little Brian Scalabrine won't get an opportunity to be on NBC, which we know is part of the fake news, okay? I would say it's rigged. It's rigged against him. It's very sad. It's very nasty, actually. It's really nasty that they would have on Reggie Miller, okay, who's going to get some of the lowest ratings in the history of our country. And I would say, frankly, it's probably racist, too, okay? Very nasty. If they had Scalabrine on, the ratings would be millions and billions of times higher. But as we know, the fake news won't have little Scal on NBC. Very sad.
All right. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. I hope Frank is not getting me fired, by the way.
By the way, Victoria, save that for opening night, by the way. We'll be replaying that in late October.
All right. So I want Stephen A. like so impressed with the Luka Doncic and the Luka's team, and it's no longer LeBron's team. Like LeBron is on the way out. Bronny, like I want like it's Luka's Lakers and LeBron is like a second thought, but Stephen A. doing it.
Let me be very, 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 very clear. Luka's not suspected. This brother Bronny James, he's no scrub. Now I'm not saying he's Kwame Brown for crying out loud. When Luka's not suspected, I do believe that LeBron James, and by the way, I do know LeBron James, and he doesn't like me very much. We got into a little altercation on the court, if you guys didn't see that viral video about 6 months ago, and I would like to be in South Beach right now, but that's besides the point. When Luka's not suspected, this is Luka Doncic's team, and I would say this to LeBron James. My sources say, my brother, it might be time for you to retire because that white boy, Luka Doncic, he can ball. He's no scrub. He's no Rasho Nesterovic. That's all I got to say.
What's amazing about Steve when he speaks, like he could talk for the longest time without taking a breath, which is hard. Like, when you're talking like that, like at some point you almost have to come up for air. He does it. It's amazing how he does it. Listen, Josh, unbelievable. The thing you did over the President's Weekend one with the All-Star game, the way you tied the two and those things in together were excellent. So tell people where they can see you on Twitter and on Instagram.
Yeah, if you guys want to follow me, it's Josh Impressions. I'm on X and Instagram and TikTok, and I do this pretty much every day. I even go through the drive-thrus as Dunkin' Donuts doing Marv Albert.
Yes, I'd like an iced coffee with milk and the foul.
Oh, that's great. Josh, we appreciate it. We'll be using you on opening night, but we'll catch up with you soon, all right?
Sounds great, guys. Thanks for having me on.